told you, you have to choose how you want to live. And to my mind, the choice is an aesthetic one. You do it because it pleases you to live like that. If it pleases you to kiss someone who hates you, be my guest. It doesn't please me to do that. It doesn't please me to do that. So again, I guess you'd say that I'm not a Christian. I don't think most Christians I meet are Christians, frankly. But it's only group solidarity that's going on there. Again, it's being part of a group and saying you're part of a group and celebrating Christmas and Easter and all kinds of other things, and being able to say that I'm one of this group. Again, it's asabiya. It's also ancestor worship. You do what your ancestors did. I'm honoring my ancestors. That doesn't mean I have to behave like a Christian. You can be a Ku Klux Klan member in the South and lynch people, and you still say that you're a Christian, which is total nonsense. How can you be a Christian and be a lyncher? It's absurd, but there you are. So anyway, I don't want to get into these things, but here, this is the virtue that these people admired, and I can understand that they behave this way. So, Jasas is also an honorable person, you see. He's got Meruah. He said, by God, slain Jasas, but she shall come. What's that in the Meruah configuration of defiance of the strong? Kulib is a strong chieftain. Jasas is honoring the bond of clientship, and he thinks that Kulib's behavior is unreasonable. At least he's emotional too, and he says, she shall come. This is really a very good story. I don't think many Muslims read this story, but I think it's a good story. That's why I assigned it to you. And when Kulib threatened to pierce her udder with an arrow, if he saw her come in again, I'll take an arrow and I'll kill her. Jasas reported, by the stones of Wahil, that's an oath of some kind, fix thine arrow in her udder, and I will fix my lance in your backbone. So, words are important things, and once uttered, they have a power of their own. You want to be careful. Maybe here Jesus could help a bit. But you don't want to say things that, lead to other things that you're not going to do. Well, in these cases, both these people are stubborn, imbued with the Meruah as they see it, and they're going to do exactly what they say. All of them are going to do just what they say that they're going to do. None of them are going to back off, and every one of them is going to do what they say. So then he drove away from this preserve in a huff. Kulib was really enraged, went home, said to his wife, that's her brother after all, this guy, do you know anyone who would defend his client against me? She said, no, I don't know anyone who would do that except my brother Jasas. If he'd given his word, that's honoring of your word, the bond of trust, clientship, and everything I just told you about. So this is all Meruah virtues in here. She tried to prevent the quarrel from getting out of hand, and nothing developed except taunts between different people when they went to the water, and followed by those of Jasas's people. Why do I say Jasas and not Jasas? You see the accent there? So that tells you, you've got to say Jasas. And that's the way Arabic would pronounce this word. So while they were waiting to drink at the water, which is always important, Saad, she-camel, broke loose and ran towards the water. And Kulib was furious because he imagined that Jasas had let her go deliberately. So, resenting the insult, he seized his bow and shot her through the udder, like he said he would. And the beast lay moaning, loudly dying before the tent of Basus the ant. And you see, often the women are in these poems, and it's still so today, the women can be the instigators in this part of the world. They force the men to act. They shame them through poetry and other vehicles. And, before the recent Gulf Wars, Saddam had his poets out on the television, goading the people to fight, and the other side had their people on the television goading the people to fight. And often it's the women. And I've been in that part of the world. I don't want to be cruel, but I can tell you that dealing with some of the people of the feminine background is even more difficult than dealing with people of the male background. Because when they get an idea in their head, they get very vindictive, and they push the men to act. They push the men to act beyond what a normal, reasonable man might say. "Ah, come on, let's talk about this. Let's have a coffee." They go home and then they get harassed, and the next day they come out and they're a different person. You all are laughing, but this happens. This is not I'm talking about sexist things. I'm just talking about reality. So this is a picture of that activity. You may not agree with it, but that's the picture given here. And I can only say that I've encountered this. So I'm not saying it's all people, but I do think it is has some validity in terms of picturing the way life is. The camel's moaning. The story getting exaggerated outside her tent, and she yells now to Jasas, "Shame, shame!" And then she raised her voice so Jasas could hear, and she spoke these famous words, which are called the instigator words, because she's pushing people to do what they probably shouldn't do, get into a feud. And you can read them in Arabic; they probably sound much better. The English translation is a little bit, excruciating.